What does the future of Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals hold? We ask Monti Ossenfort and new head coach Michael LaFleur. Plus, we get the insight from the insiders. How about Tom Peliserro and Jeremy Fowler, Johnny Venerable?
Plus, ESPN's Jordan Reid is going to join us. How high is too high for Jeremiyah Love? Could he go third overall? And what the most likely scenario is for Ty Simpson. Pick 34, PHNX Cardinals live from Indy. The NFL Combine starts now. Welcome in live from downtown Indianapolis, the site of the 2026 NFL Combine. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier #1 Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Johnny Venerable, Brack, the whole team is here. Noah behind the Mac, head of production Shane Diefenbach. We're all hanging out, having a blast, Bo.
You know, it's a big-time event when we've got Shy Johnny. He's not going to drop a loud live, but that means we got a great show on tap. We got a lot of serious people around you, serious people in the chat. I see you, Ken Waver, saying I look very professional.
You do.
How about that?
Get cleaned up nicely.
Yeah, thank you, Ken. Thank you, Jacob Tackett. How about Terry Cleary, T. Boise, Dante Benjamin, Daniel Barnett, Burnt Marble, as always in the chat, PK Fitzgerald, AZ Moses, Daryl Gray, so many great people. Justin T. Hi, Deb, Spence, and AZ. Everybody's having a great time ready to hear what Monti Ossenfort, Michael LaFleur, we're talking about today at the NFL Combine. Of course, this episode of PHNX Cardinals is brought to you by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app today and use the code PHNX365 to cash in. How about some bonus dollars in the form of $200? Use that code PHNX365, Bet365. It's never ordinary.
It's not been an ordinary week. I love it here. I'm having a great time. Monti Ossenfort, Michael LaFleur, we just got done with their pressers a few hours ago. We're going to give you the skinny on what they said, maybe what they wanted to say and couldn't say. And, you know, we're going to talk about the quarterback landscape because it's going to dominate the headlines with the Cardinals until they get it resolved. And then, oh, by the way, we've got some draft talk that also is going to build up. Can't wait for you to see an interview we just did with Jordan Reid as it relates to the third overall pick. So much good stuff, but we have to start with Monti Ossenfort. Monti Ossenfort, unlike Michael LaFleur, and I think you're going to get the sense when you hear from Michael LaFleur, and we'll assess his comments, he's just getting settled. Like, people wanted to talk to him about, like, his relationship with his brother and being dual, you know, brother head coaches in the NFL. He's like, I've been on the job for 3 weeks.
Right.
That's not Monti Ossenfort's reality. Monti Ossenfort is 15-36. Monti Ossenfort has to find resolution one way or the other with Kyler Murray. Monti Ossenfort has to find a new quarterback for this team. Yeah. And all that has to be done here within the next 2 to 3 weeks ahead of the draft. Like, I think if Monti Ossenfort, like, we barely even scratched the surface as it relates to, like, hey, Monti, how you feeling about pick 3? And he mixed in a little verbiage of, even if we pick at pick 3.
Yeah.
No one's trading up in this draft, by the way. The Cardinals aren't going to be able to trade down, you would assume. What they need to do is they need to find resolution on Kyler Murray, and we feel like we know where that's headed. We feel like the direction where the team is going is likely, unfortunately, for a lot of his supporters, and us included, is they're going to be forced to cut Kyler Murray.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the harsh reality, the elephant in the room. And, you know, the issue here is, like, you got two very different scenarios. You got the brand new head coach who's been in the job for 3 weeks, and then you got the GM who's been on the job for 3 years, right? And the GM's saying that his record going into this offseason is 0-0. Well, that's the reality for Michael LaFleur.
Yeah.
He can live that reality, even though I don't think he wants to. He doesn't want to come out stumbling out of the gates and have, you know, a lack of quarterback clarity and all this. It's really unfortunate. You know, and Monti Ossenfort is the king of this. He could have taught a class today in Coach Speak 101 where he said a lot of things, but he didn't tell you anything specifically. Right? It didn't tell you anything definitively. What's going to happen with Kyler Murray, what they're going to do with 3 overall, what they're even going to do with some easy answers as far as wanting to extend Michael Wilson or Paris Johnson Jr., but also that comes with that is one of the realities that going into year 4 for Monti Ossenfort is we still have far more questions than answers. And you got to start to check some of those boxes here, and it's going to come very quickly. That day is coming soon.
Yeah.
We're going to leave the combine here on Thursday night, and we're going to be about 2 weeks away from the Cardinals making some huge roster decisions.
Yeah, like decisions that are going to shape the 2026 season. And again, like I like Monti Ossenfort, the person. I think he's done some good things. But, the record is what the record is. And the minute that the team opted to fire Jonathan Gannon, where did the target go for people who were skeptics of this franchise? The fan base, certainly, it was like, well, why did Monti Ossenfort keep his job? Like, between us, we were talking to an insider right before Monti's presser, and it's like, I'm surprised they didn't just clean house entirely. And it's like, okay, Monti Ossenfort, you were kept around. What do you got?
Right.
And I think here's what's going to be tough for Cardinal fans, and I'm with you, and I live this reality every day, is that we believe that the Cardinals, well, we know they've shopped Kyler Murray. We just dropped an article. I encourage everybody, please go check it out. Go PHNX.com. You were sitting next to me, though.
I did.
It was a collaborative effect.
Yeah.
That the Cardinals have been shopping Kyler.
He's dabbing his brow with a towel.
And that's why I need you here. That's why you pay the big bucks. The Cardinals have been shopping Kyler Murray since the trade deadline last year. It was casual then. Yeah. But now they've been feverishly trying to trade him since then. They haven't traded him yet. Remember, once upon a time, there are trades that happened in February, right, before the league year. Hasn't happened yet. Mm-hmm. The growing consensus from multiple people that you're going to see on this show today and then behind the scenes is that they're going to be forced to cut him. And for Monti Ossenfort, that's going to be a non-popular move with this fan base, despite what you think about Kyler Murray. When we're talking about Tyson Bagent and Mac Jones going for, like, day 2 picks, and you can't trade Kyler Murray, and I get it. Monti didn't give him that contract. It's the parameters. We're going to talk about it. We have talked about it, frankly, ad nauseum. That's going to be really the biggest reason why you can't move him. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's like there's going to be a period where you're going to cut Kyler Murray, and this fan base is going to be disappointed or upset or revolt. Then you have to be able to turn around and do something big. And that's the biggest thing facing him right now.
And we've outlined the timeline, right? And what it could be. And they probably wouldn't do themselves any good as if they were to cut him with plenty of time to spare before they find his successor.
Yeah.
So you got to imagine, like, they want a quick turnaround.
You would think.
Right? And unless they want to take more arrows in the court of public opinion, which I don't know if they could withstand it. They look like Sir Duncan the Tall in his battle scene there, where they're just taking, shot after shot. Might be too inside baseball of a reference at this point, but look, it's not good.
No.
It's the Black Knife from Monty Python.
Yeah.
Like you can't lose too many more limbs at this point if you're Monti Ossenfort in the Arizona Cardinals. So, but, I mean, it just seems it's an inevitability that they're moving on from Kyler Murray.
Which we've said.
For people who continue to hold on.
There's somebody in your mentions today that was like, they're keeping it.
I don't know how you still hold that.
Get help.
And then, what's it going to look like? And outside of a Hail Mary of the Jets understanding reality, like, he's not going to probably sign with you if he has other choices. And you're going to hear that point reiterated by some NFL newsmakers and Tom Peliserro and Jeremy Fowler later in the show, is that the Cardinals, regardless of what gets done there, they have to pivot and then find out what the solution is afterwards. And it's like they're going to be a bidding war for a guy like Malik Willis. Is he worthy of that? Then you look at the Tyson Bagent news that comes around, and you've got, Ryan Poles and both Ben Johnson echoing the same things. It's like they love Tyson, and, but at the same time they want to give him an opportunity, and it has to make sense. They're not going to just get rid of a guy that they rely upon who's controllable for a low price that can back up Caleb Williams for nothing, basically driving that price up.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be anything short of a day 2 pick. I think that Monti Ossenfort has all these options, but not any, like, true definitive solutions outside of maybe, like, Malik Willis.
Yeah, 100%. We're going to talk about Malik Willis because he's the talk of the combine for free agent quarterbacks, and there are people who love him and swear by him. Then there are plenty of skeptics out there. If you're a skeptic of Malik Willis, you're not wrong. But I think you have to contextualize it from the landscape of if you're in Monti Ossenfort's position. I see Rafa in the chat saying it's not his fault with Kyler. He didn't give him that contract. Yeah, but, like, he's also won 15 games in 3 years. And so when you couple that with parting ways with a quarterback that a lot of people think is a starting caliber QB, what's your next play here? For all the people online who are like, tank this season, go with Jacoby Brissett, like, we've been trying to give it to you straight as it relates to Kyler Murray since October. I think we've been pretty honest about it. We're going to give it to you straight as it relates to this team, and hopefully this is something that people want to hear. They're going to try to win this year. Yeah. They have no appetite for tanking this season. They're not thinking about 2027 and the draft class. We're here talking about 2026's draft class, right? They could draft Ty Simpson for all we know. But right now, it's like they're going to pivot off of K1. We believe that's going to come in the form of a cut. And then turning around and doing what? That right now is the top of everybody's mind.
Should be.
Yeah, and here's Monti Ossenfort, by the way. He knew it was at the top of everybody's mind. He gave an opening statement at his press conference. Do we have that?
Well, what we have basically is it's going to start with Monti opening up the entire press availability. It's going to take you through Monti's answers and Mike LaFleur's answers as it pertains to Kyler Murray.
Let's hear that.
I know a lot of you are going to, on top of your mind is our quarterback situation. So, here's what I would say is I've said before, I'd say all options are on the table for us, okay? We got Kyler, Jacoby, Keaton, all under contract. As it pertains to that position, as it pertains to every position on our team, we're going to look at every avenue to improve. And we're going to continue and go through our process with that. So, like I said, we're going to do that as we go through our roster building. We just have two of the bigger ones coming up here, and free agency and the draft come up back to back. And excited to get on with that process. So, excited to see all you guys. And with that, I'll open it up to questions. Yeah, I've always had a good dialogue with Kyler, and I'd say, it wasn't up to what Kyler wanted. It wasn't up to, what any of us wanted as a season as a whole. And so, when you had the kind of year that we had, there's a lot of room for improvement. And so we got to find a way to do that, not only at that position, at all positions, but that's what we're all focused on, is getting better and moving forward.
Yeah, we reached out. I'm not going to get into the specifics of it, but he reached back out to me, and we'll keep it at that. Just like I'm going to keep all the conversations with everyone on our team, between us.
I mean, mentioning Keaton Slovis in there, for anybody who's like, hey, you mentioned Kyler's under contract, that means he's our guy. It's like, mention Keaton Slovis there.
Right.
Can we just that just shows you, like, the general manager for the Dolphins has been very transparent. He's playing with a lot of house money. He's first-year GM. Monti Ossenfort, if you thought things were close to the vest before, they ain't letting anything out right now. They're not showing any hand. And you could argue, like, it hasn't helped them in the past.
Yeah, I'll say that. They don't have a great poker face either.
Right.
Like they're trying to play this thing, and they're trying to bluff the thing right now as far as where Kyler's standing is within this organization.
Right.
But, like, you just kind of, if you piece all this together from – these are the quarterbacks we have under contract and they're on their roster, and all things are on the table to Michael LaFleur at the end of this. Your brand new head coach saying, yeah, we've had communications, but I'm going to keep that between us.
Yeah.
We're like, I'm not going to constantly compare JG to Michael LaFleur, but
do it.
JG, I'm sorry. JG was very transparent as far as where Kyler Murray's standing was as far as him. And that's maybe not fair to Michael LaFleur because he's come into a very tough situation.
Yeah. I mean, Mike doesn't know the players yet. Mike hasn't face-to-face met Kyler Murray, right? At least as a head coach of the Cardinals, had a one-on-one. We had that JG-K1 interaction right when he got to the facility.
Yeah.
Mike's joining this team in limbo right now. You don't have a quarterback of the future, and right now your general manager could be one and done, depending on if he wins this year. So to anybody who's like, you know what, they're going to slow play this, they're going to play for 2027, I expect, and I said this before the combine, I feel even better about it now, I expect big moves, major franchise-changing moves, starting with Kyler Murray, of course, being released, but I think everything's on the table for this team. Because when you're facing down the barrel of, hey, the first iteration of our rebuild failed, we have talent that we like, we need big swings now. Mm-hmm. Not Justin Jones, not Sean Murphy bunting, right? Not middling around, trading down and watering down picks when you could have taken Cooper DeJean, right? Monti Ossenfort, and we talked to some people about it behind the scenes today, he needs people who are going to impact the game, about 4 to 6 guys this fall. Yeah. Difference makers, quarterback, running back, pass rusher, playmakers. And it's like, he missed the memo, or he's missed on the player for the first couple of years.
Right. And you're going to have a lot of development from your new coaching staff to guys just staying healthy. And something else we asked him about today is, all the injuries and what's the status of the training staff. As you had a facelift basically for your coaching staff, what's going on with the training staff? That's something that he said, Ossenfort did, that there's going to be clarity on soon.
Yeah.
So we assume that's going to come in the form of moves as far as the staff itself, and then also so the process is in place. But getting back to where Ossenfort stands, when you're maxing out the coach speak meter, that means that you've got a lot of things that you have in the works right now as far as that you need to play tight to the vest as an architect of an NFL team that needs to make significant changes this year, that he needs to operate this offseason. As people are saying, tank, that's your quickest path to relevancy and contention.
Yeah.
No, you have a general manager that has to move with urgency, or he is going to be quickly shown the door.
Yep, and will that urgency come in the form of Malik Willis? I asked Monti Ossenfort about Malik Willis. Here's the answer from the GM.
Yeah, Johnny, you don't really want to get into, evaluations of specific players. Malik did a great job when he went in there for Green Bay this year. I was with Malik for a short time there in Tennessee, had a great college career coming out. So, he's one of the quarterbacks that's available. We'll evaluate all our options, and whether it's, free agency, the draft, just with that position, with every position, and we'll be prepared to do what's best for the team.
The Dolphins general manager, can I just read a quote?
The stark differences.
For Monti Ossenfort. This happened, by the way. So the Dolphins have a new GM. His name's John Eric Sullivan. He has 2 first names. And he said, any team in a quarterback-needy situation, which the Cardinals are with bells on, that tells you that they're not talking about Malik Willis, that would be a lie. So, Monti Ossenfort, I love you to death. You lied right to my face today. I don't appreciate it. I honestly thought we would get something like, hey, I really enjoyed my time with Malik. Mm-hmm. He did some good things in Green Bay. I thought we'd get a little bit more, but he's right. Monti will not talk about player evaluations at all.
He's it's like from The Departed. It's like, how do you know somebody's a cop? And they say, I'm not a cop.
That's
right?
the first thing a cop would say.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, what do you think about Malik Willis? He's like, he's just he just goes through the standard stock answers. Not even that, right? Couldn't even give that much. You asked Michael LaFleur about the quarterback. Do we have that about playing a young rookie quarterback? Would he be comfortable doing that?
I'm open and embracing playing the best quarterback possible for the Arizona Cardinals, and so we're still working through that process right now, and there's going to be a lot of factors that's going to lead into that.
Yeah, I asked him, would you play a rookie? And he's like, play anybody.
Yeah.
Notice how it's like, if you were playing Kyler Murray, by the way, you're saying, I want to play Kyler Murray.
Don't you think he's been more open, though? Like, he said, when he was asked during his coordinator's introductory presser about Kyler Murray, he's like, I don't have any time frame on that. And now he's talking, we're going through this process.
Yeah.
What process are we talking about?
Or the process of remaking your quarterback.
Right.
The people that are in there will likely not be there next year. Maybe sans Jacoby Brissett.
I found it interesting. Michael LaFleur does feel like they have a rising star, though, at the QB coach room.
Ooh.
Of course, they hired 2-time Pro Bowler Matt Schaub. Asked him what went into that hiring process, what he brings to the room.
That's a good one. So obviously, I never directly coached Schaub. I was on the Atlanta Falcons staff, but I was with the receivers when he came in 2016. I'm guessing Matt Ryan's here right now, but what a cool deal that was, for Matt Ryan and Matt Schaub that year, and he played a big part into the success that Matt Ryan had, and that's crazy to maybe say that, but just their side conversations, how they would take what Kyle and my brother were asking him to do schematically, and then really put it into quarterback terms, if you will. So always kind of knew from that time, and then, just all the experiences before that Kyle had with him in Houston, that, man, if he ever wants to coach, I know Kyle's always tried to get him to be a coach there. It just didn't time up there. It didn't time up in Green Bay, but luckily it timed up for us. And when I got the call I actually got the call from my brother that Matt Schaub wanted to end up coaching. And it was like, wow, I just hit the jackpot, in that room. So it's awesome to have him.
Can I just contextualize that last little bit there?
Yeah.
My brother called me to tell me Matt was available, so we hired Matt. And there are people out there who don't think that Matt and Mike talk about Malik Willis. Are you nuts?
Right.
Are you insane?
Nick Rollis.
Right.
Via Jonathan Gannon.
It's just like
all these
My brother called me on the phone and
conversations.
said, hey, remember when I tried to hire Matt Schaub and I've never had an opening at quarterback coach? He's available now. Go hire him.
Yeah.
And he hired him.
We saw that differently because I saw that answer as Michael LaFleur's already beaten out Kyle Shanahan for something.
Yes, equally good. Yes.
Said Shanahan tried to hire him, but he wanted to work with me. Once he heard I got hired.
Yeah, that's right. To me, that bite tells me everything. And, plus, I'm super excited to see Matt Schaub here. That was one of the most fascinating hires of the staff. As far as who's going to be working with the receivers, you're going to be able to play in a sandbox that contains one Marvin Harrison Jr. Here's Mike LaFleur on Marv, the person.
Yeah, he what a stud of a human, first and foremost. I didn't get a chance when he was coming out. Obviously, we knew he was going to be a top 10 pick, and we didn't have one of those when I was in LA. So didn't really get a chance to get to know him. Just saw the player, and obviously the traits are the traits, right? I mean, you saw all the good stuff that I think we all saw. What's been really cool is getting to know the human, and hard for me to put into words other than just really excited to work with the guy. It was really cool when I came in for the first in-person interview. The first three people I saw were him, Michael Wilson, Trey McBride, and they were literally right when I walked in past security, the first three at the breakfast table getting ready to go work out. And I basically gave all three of them a hug and said, this is a good omen right here, and it doesn't mean much except for, man, they want to put in the work and they love this game, so excited to work with him. I know he's excited to get going with this thing and, be cool. Yeah, we're going to put him in the position to most be successful, and so I think that's foundationally what has been really neat about the systems that I've been in. The system that we'll run is who is the slot, who is the X receiver. They're all interchangeable, and you try to maximize however many plays, let's call it 65 to 70 plays a game. You try to make sure all 65 to 70 matter, and those guys are in the right positions at the right time, so we'll move them around just like we do all those guys, and again, have a better idea of that once we kind of get going into May, and then obviously through training camp to see where it's all going to fit.
Really like that insight.
Yeah, look, there's a couple things, and I know people okay, Marv's going to pop. I'm not going to hold my breath. And he needs to prove it at some point.
Which is fair.
Yeah. Show me. But, as far as LaFleur goes, he's going to want to define what his role is going to be.
Yeah.
And, you're gonna go in and you're gonna be X, or you're going to be slot, or you're going to be Z. And I think that's important. It's not you're going to be a decoy potentially on this play. It's we're going to find a way you're going to impact the game. And we've got these plays in the playbook set up for that. Also, at the front part of that, saying, it's a good omen when he's in there for his first interview, the one that we were all kind of scratching our head, Michael LaFleur came to town, he left without a contract. That's kind of weird. But when you look past that, is that he meets up with his the trio, right?
The Trinity.
The holy trinity of Cardinals playmakers. More so Trey McBride and 1,000-yard receiver Michael Wilson. He's that's a good omen, but it's those are the connections right now.
Yeah,
that's who's going to lead the charge as far as you're going to bring in a quarterback, but Michael LaFleur sees it, and that's the dapping up and bro hugging Kyler Murray at the beginning, with Jonathan Gannon 4 years ago.
Well, doesn't it make sense too? I see a lot of people say, "Hey, just sell low on Marv," and they're not saying that necessarily, but they just get a fresh start. You've got Michael Wilson. I would think that you would want to give Marv every opportunity after that last regime, specifically his relationship with Drew, to go the opposite effect and say, well, this guy was the 4th overall pick for a reason. Let's just see what happens this year. If it doesn't work out with Mike LaFleur for whatever reason, then you have your finality. I would rather, instead of selling Marv 70 cents on the dollar, come out and say, okay, look what this guy did. And I know we're talking about two of the greats with Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams last year. Can you simulate some of that?
Yeah.
Simulate some of that with Michael and Marv, and then, by the way, the best tight end in the NFL. The Cardinals are going to be, regardless of if they get Malik Willis, I believe they're going to be an offensive team. Mm-hmm. And you can never have enough playmakers. Marvin Harrison Jr. was on his way to double-digit touchdowns as a rookie. At the very least, Marv, I think, can score a lot of touchdowns next year. And what Devontae Adams, his pace was 20 touchdowns this past year. So there's so much good left there. And you've got somebody that's an offensive savant. Let them work with them, and just hopefully we'll be surprised. Last year at this time, and we were guilty of it, we're talking to JG and Kyler and Michael Wilson, coincidentally, about Marv year 2. And we just need to let Marv and the play speak for itself. And this will be the perfect time. It's like, Marv, if you're going to ascend to what we believe can be true as a Pro Bowl level receiver, it's got to be this year.
Yeah, I agree. As far as the $1 million question, Cardinals quarterback.
Yeah.
We go out to an insider. Tom Peliserro is going to answer what he's hearing. The latest on Kyler Murray. Can they trade him or do they have to release him? And who his successor would be. We'll talk to Tommy P, the insiders, next here on PHNX Cardinals, live from the NFL Combine.
But first, check out our friends at Bet365. It may be Tip-Off Tuesday away from the Valley, but that doesn't mean I can't dabble with our friends at Bet365 right here in Indy. As I look at Tip-Off Tuesday, you got the Suns taking on the Celtics. Big game tonight. No Dylan Brooks for a hot minute. Let's see if the guys can rally, place a qualifying same-game parlay bet with the safety net bet. Yeah, I'm a big ball knower. That's right. On Tuesday, NBA games and get $10 in bonus bets. You can also dabble a little NHL hockey action with Bet365. You get that early payout offer. Just like in football season, NHL is going to make you a winner if your team gains a 3-league goal. Again, you get that instant payout offer. And if you're like, well, I need some bonus bets, Johnny, well, I'm here to help. Bet365 is giving new customers $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use the code PHNX365, deposit $10, and again, place a $5 bet. Get $200 in bonus bets if your team wins or loses. It can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary with Bet365. You got to be 21 years or older, physically located in Arizona. If you were someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Text NEXT STEP to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov for more info.
Look, everybody needs a checking account, but not every checking account actually gives you something back.
Sure.
That's why I like Mountain America My Style Checking. It's unbelievable. A checking account with built-in benefits that actually fit real life. You get things like restaurant deals, mobile phone protection, telehealth access, identity protection, even loan rate discounts, plus offers on travel and events. It's a one account with a bunch of perks just baked right into it. A perks pie, if you will. How about so instead of checking account, it's just sitting there. Maybe you have to pay a monthly fee. You make it work for you. Make my style your lifestyle with the Mountain America Credit Union on the road, traveling like we are. We don't have to overthink it or question, if our money's safe, but you feel safe. Nice, warm, and cozy blanket around you with Mountain America Credit Union, and then you got the perks. It really livens things up. Check it out. Visit macu.com/mystyle to apply. Membership required. Some benefits require activation, and Mountain America is insured by the NCUA. That's once again macu.com/mystyle to apply.
We're having our biggest diehard sale of the year here in 2026. Check it out right now. Go PHNX.com. I believe just $35. It's going to get you a diehard membership. What does that include, friends? Well, you get the 2026 draft guide, the diehard draft guide from our guy Fran Duffy, which is worth its weight in gold. Plus, you get a free piece of merch from the merchandise locker and all access to everything at GoPHNX.com. Also, you're going to get 20% off our draft party ticket. So it's the best deal to do right now. $35, diehard draft guide. Get a piece of merch, get discounted tickets for our draft party, which could very well be 2 nights. Right. Do it right now. Go PHNX.com.
I love that. So many perks in being a diehard. You get that exclusive access to the member Discord where Johnny's going to be putting on a full display, an eating display at St. Elmo's tonight. You're not going to want to miss it, or he's going to fall horrendously short and we'll make fun of him for 365 days.
I just saw somebody give a super chat, and we're going to read it later in the show, that I'm not allowed to get seafood, and they said you have to eat a steak.
Wow.
And I'm like, but what if I want seafood? I don't know if I don't want to be like the third
Grown
overall
man
pick.
Being told what he can and cannot eat.
I don't want to be pigeonholed. Like, you have to take an edge rusher at pick 3. Oh, I can't take Jeremiyah Love. I can't have some shrimp. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
We'll see, but also we'll see what our guy Tom Peliserro thinks about the Cardinals' future quarterback conundrum.
Live from the 2026 NFL Combine, of course, NFL.com, NFL Network, Tom Peliserro. And Tom, question for the Cardinals.
way beyond pick 3. What's going on with the quarterback situation? Do you think they'll be able to trade Kyler Murray?
It's a great question. If Kyler becomes available via release, I anticipate there being a pretty robust market to bring him in. He's a guy who's got a fully guaranteed contract, and therefore a team could bring him in at the minimum. The question then becomes, knowing that there's additional money that would vest if he's still on the roster the 5th day of the league year in mid-March, are the Cardinals really going to keep him? If the answer within the league is no, then you probably wait it out and see whether or not he actually gets released and get him for nothing. The risk that you run with that is he may choose not to sign with you. If money is not a factor, because he'd be a minimum guy anywhere, given the fact that he's already guaranteed over $30 million this year, the only way you can guarantee yourself a chance to get him would be to trade for him.
So does New York or the Jets the team that really is your last effort to potentially trade him, or could there be some suitors out there that see maybe that the only option of getting Kyler or landing Kyler is to trade for him?
The Jets have, obviously a lot of draft capital, and so certainly that would be a logical team that I would call if I were Monti Ossenfort. Again, the real question comes down to who is willing to execute a trade and take on more than about $1 million of his contract versus simply waiting for him to get released. If he becomes available, I don't think you can rule out the Vikings as a possibility for Kyler Murray. I don't think you rule out even the Dolphins. There's other teams with complicated cap situations who, if you can get a guy with his experience, his talent level for the minimum, that's a lot different than saying, hey, we're going to give up a real draft pick and pay him $10 million. It's different categories of teams. Think about this. There are a bunch of these moving parts right now between Kirk Cousins, who's going to be released on March 11th, Geno Smith, Kyler Murray, Tua Tagovailoa. We don't know, exactly when Justin Fields could become available. That's another quarterback out there, on top of the various free agent quarterbacks and Malik Willis. These are all interconnected parts, but between Kyler, Tua, and Geno, they all have additional money that vests that first week of the league year. So there's sort of a soft deadline for a lot of these things to shake out and teams to know what their options actually are.
Real quick, let's touch on Malik Willis. Of course, the connection, Matt, to maybe Mike LaFleur. They've got Nathaniel Hackett in the building. Monti Ossenfort, their GM, was with the Tennessee Titans when they drafted Malik Willis. Is there a connection there? You're starting to see some smoke with potentially Malik maybe ending up in the desert.
Listen, Malik Willis, if you're looking for the young free agent quarterback, he's the one. There's not a second guy. So if you want to take a shot on that, Malik is your guy. The question just becomes, what's the price point on that? The two logical teams, in my mind, are the Dolphins and the Cardinals. The Dolphins, because, again, they have a GM and a head coach who are both in Green Bay, but also they need a quarterback and they need somebody with upside. He's played in the same type of system Bobby Slowick's going to run. And in Arizona, a lot of the same corollaries. You mentioned the connection to Monti Ossenfort. Obviously, the LaFleur brothers, there would be plenty of institutional knowledge. Nathaniel Hackett was around that team last season as well. And similar type of system that we've seen Malik flourish in. I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about Malik Willis making more than 20, close to $30 million a year. That's rare for a guy with such a small sample size in terms of starts, but it's also rare for a guy to have the efficiency numbers he has, particularly in downfield passing, experience in a system that half the league runs, appears to be on the ascent, all the athletic tools, also a great guy that I've known since the Senior Bowl. There's a lot of reasons to believe that he's going to be really in demand, and I do think if they want to go that direction in terms of play style, Arizona does make sense.
Like a Sam Darnold light contract from last year, like 3 for $100 with Sam. Probably less money, maybe same amount of years.
Justin Fields got 2 for $40 with 30 guaranteed. And Sam Darnold was 3 for $100.5. Somewhere in between there is probably the logical spot. Again, we had a lot of track record on both those guys, on Darnold and on Justin
14
Fields.
Wins from
With
Darnold.
Malik Willis, you're talking about a handful of fill-in starts, but games where he played really well. And again, the downfield passing stuff is real. The scrambles and the way he creates with his legs, that stuff is real. I mean, I've just been a Malik Willis fan as a guy since meeting him in Mobile, years ago. It's been cool to see him, kind of putting it together and learning in the NFL. Matt LaFleur did a heck of a job, coaching him up and getting him in a spot where he could be in this position. And it would be, fairly poetic if his brother ends up getting the fruits of that labor.
Unbelievable stuff. The Insiders, Tom Peliserro, NFL Network. Thanks for the tremendous insight, man.
You got it.
Tommy P.
I mentioned his insights tremendous.
Yeah, it is.
Did I say that twice? I think I did.
Nice.
You guys are close.
Yeah.
You should cut your hair like Tom. You and Tom should have the same hairstyle.
It's kind of a classy mullet.
Yeah, and he rocks it well.
Shane said he'd get it. I already have it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Noah does kind of have it a little bit.
No, he does.
I
Not
do.
kind of.
Did you copy Tom? Is that what you
No,
did?
Tom copied me.
Got it. Okay, noted.
What'd you call it? Oh, Shane's he's chirping out there, and then he's just, when I say what, he's like
heckling the show.
he's the PHNX heckler out here in the Indianapolis. Yeah, it's classy.
Takeaways from Tom.
Yeah,
number one, it's gonna be tough to trade Kyler Murray.
It's gonna be tough.
Like, teams want to sign Kyler Murray for $1 million,
right,
on their terms. They want to be able to do the whole, hey, come to our facility, check us out. The teams that have their act together, like the Vikings, would love to do that. I liked your question about the Jets, but I have not heard any connection to the Jets yet for Kyler Murray. And we know, given the owner, if they were interested, it would be out there.
Right.
It would be out there. They'd be making noise.
The chances of somehow the Jets riding in on a stallion,
yes,
being your white knight.
Here's a day 2 pick.
Here's any pick, and we're gonna take on that salary.
Yeah.
Seems like it's the chances are dwindling by the day, because there was the reports out there earlier today that have been out there that they don't want to spend a lot on quarterback. They don't want to, the thing about the Kyler Murray contract is you take him on before 5 days in the league year, you're signing up for that nearly $20 million guarantee in 2027.
Right.
And that's tough, because then it becomes, that's more than a bridge quarterback. And that's the one thing where people kind of turn their nose up on it at his deal.
The Jets, according to Tony Pauline, are intrigued by a Tanner McKee and the backup for Philadelphia, or Tyson out of Chicago, Badgett out of Chicago. And what do those options have? They're cheap.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know if I'm the Jets fandom, giving up a decent pick for a Band-Aid quarterback this year. I would much rather, if I was a Jet fan, you can have Jacoby Brissett for a 6-rounder. But for me, it comes down to, and I think this is what I laugh about, the Malik Willis situation, is that, we heard Ian Rappaport say the Dolphins, it's going to be difficult for them to be able to get Malik Willis based on the amount of money they have to free up. Mm-hmm. The Cardinals are going to have $40 million without breaking a sweat. Yeah. And yes, if you sign Malik Willis at $25, $30 million for 2 years, you're committing a lot of money to 2 quarterbacks this year, one of which is not going to play for you. But if you're the Cardinals, you just have to accept that.
Yeah.
You can't go into the season saying, oh, I'm going to pout and moan that we're $85 million of our cap is going to Malik Willis and Kyler Murray. Because if you're Monti, unlike Miami, that could be the difference between you staying and not staying.
Right.
You can't just say, well, we're going to go out there and trade for Tyson Badgett or whomever because they're cheap, because we need to be able to save after the Kyler Murray situation. You can't think like that. It has to come down to, who do we believe is the best quarterback that we can acquire after moving off of Kyler Murray?
Yeah. Hit that like button, by the way. Let's load it up here. Our first day in Indianapolis. It's been a very productive one, no doubt about it. And it's just, then there is that debate, right? It's okay, regardless of what you do with K1, right? If you have to wear it. Yeah. And then you have to decide, do you do it over the next 2 seasons, or do you just take the knock right now, all $55 million, nearly $55 million in dead money, which I think would be $2 million from off the top of your cap too.
Right.
Right? It starts to bleed into it. But then you can make up for that a little bit easier afterwards. But where do you go? Because if you are going to get in the market, you've got the decision to make as far as, do you overspend and take a risk on a guy, sure, with decent traits, and a guy that I think has kind of gained confidence in the league for this next opportunity? Can he show he's more than the backup in Malik Willis? Or do you, instead of spending the cap money in the short term, do you go and spend the draft capital as a draft and develop team, which I think is probably something that Monti Ossenfort is more is less likely to do as the GM that he's shown to be.
Well, this year,
yeah,
this isn't the year to do it. There's not Kyler Murray would be the quarterback I'd want my team to trade for. He plays for you,
right?
You're not trading for Tua. It's going to be interesting to see how this has a trickle-down effect to how they attack free agency. I had a chance to connect with Jeremy Fowler earlier today.
Yeah.
And we talked about Kyler Murray first and Malik Willis, but then we got into the situation with Breece Hall and what the Cardinals could do at running back. Here's Jeremy from earlier today.
ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. Jeremy, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
PHNX Cardinals Kyler Murray, can the Cardinals get a deal done? Do you inevitably see him in a trade piece or eventually released?
Yeah. When you say deal done, I assume that means a trade.
Yes.
I'm a little skeptical if they can get a deal done there. Teams I've talked to believe that they're going to probably eventually have to release him. He's got that money due mid-March, 5th day of the league year, I believe, that kicks in, that make a full guarantee that they won't want to pay. And so teams are going to kind of wait that out. Now maybe, I do still think Kyler's probably the most attractive quarterback that could be available because of what he can still do. His numbers aren't bad the last few years. You know, it hasn't worked out. It seems like whoever they bring in is probably not going to be better than him, but it just seems like maybe from a time standpoint and the relationship has run its course and maybe they just need to move on from that standpoint. He could probably use a fresh start too. I think he wants to go to a winner potentially.
Yeah, it's tough, especially when you've got that guaranteed money that kicks in for 2027. Let's talk about another quarterback, Malik Willis, who's available. He's going to be a free agent.
Yeah.
Cardinals have a lot of ties to Malik. His infrastructure going from maybe Matt to Mike LaFleur. Is that a potential landing spot for Malik Willis?
It's a potential landing spot. It's going to be fascinating. I was just talking to some people really throughout the combine of just what is his market going to be.
Right.
Some of the numbers I've seen out there from the media I think are crazy, that he's going to get 30, 40, 50 million a year. I mean, he's got a couple starts. He's been a backup. Like, I think he's going to get a good deal. I would say Justin Fields' contract last year with the Jets, 2 for $40, is a better comp personally. So I think he'll get paid. He'll be just fine, but I don't think it's going to be crazy money. I do expect Arizona will at least kick the tires on it. Miami as well. It's going to be fascinating to see what direction they go, and I guess we'll hear from Michael LaFleur here soon. But they're going to have options. Do they go with like a bridge, like a Jimmy Garoppolo, who was with him in the Rams? Then you can draft somebody, or do you go? Can you salvage the Kyler relationship, or do you want to? I would say probably not at this point. I think Willis will be on the table, but it's got to make sense financially, because then you're essentially paying Kyler to go away to pay another quarterback who's probably not as good as Kyler. So it's just an interesting equation.
Lastly, we'll get you out of here. Breece Hall, does he get franchise tagged by the Jets, get his best season under Michael LaFleur? Cardinals could be looking for a new bell cow back.
So if I had to guess right now, I think they'll transition tag Breece Hall. It'll be around $11.5 million as just a placeholder to keep him and try to get a long-term deal done. But that's not a slam dunk. I don't think that's been decided yet. But if I had to kind of project out, I would say Breece will be off the market. So that leaves Kenneth Walker from Seattle, probably the top back, Travis Etienne, Kenny Gainwell in Pittsburgh is really good, Rico Dowdle. There'll be a lot of backs. So Arizona could use one. We'll see what they do with James Conner, who's older now and been hurt. So they can save some cap space if they move on from him and just kind of replenish with a new back. But a Michael LaFleur offense, you're going to need a good back, because you're going to run that system. You're going to try to support the quarterback with the running game.
Check out his stuff, ESPN.com. Jeremy Fowler. Jeremy, thanks for the time.
Yeah, for sure. Good to see you.
Big takeaway from that Fowler interview was he was one of the ones that said, hey, door's not completely closed on Kyler Murray. It seems like he's singing a different tune today.
Yeah, it takes a minute for some people to catch up to what your boys have known for a hot minute.
Right.
But no, with no disrespect to Jeremy, it's like
new information came his way.
And he's like, yeah, they're going to move off of him. It's like, yeah, they are. They're gonna cut him. I mean, he's skeptical.
Yeah.
He doesn't think that. He told me off air. He said they're going to have to cut him. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. Everybody here, we're trying to will into existence, right? We had Benjamin Albright earlier this offseason say that he thought they could get a day 2 pick for him. Mm-hmm. Then you had, maybe a day 3 pick and they eat some of the salary. Consensus right now is that overwhelmingly that they're going to have to cut him.
Yeah.
And that's going to be tough.
Yeah.
But, our job is not to come on here and say, hey, they're going to get a first, they're going to move up with the Jets, and they're going to switch spots, and the Jets are going to take Kyler Murray. It's like, no. This is what everybody's saying.
Yeah. Some interesting takeaways from Peliserro and Fowler about Malik Willis's price tag. We're going to get into that. Plus, we're going to talk to Jordan Reid, ESPN draft analyst. That's all coming up on the other side. It's PHNX Cardinals.
Hit that like button for Mark and Alexis Breyer. They're the husband and wife law team. Phoenix is their home where they raise their 8 children, where their focus is always their customers and giving back to the community. And let's face it, after a serious injury, you want to hire an attorney that's focused on your best outcome, not how much money the firm can make. It's the husband and wife law team. The team brings hundreds of years of combined trial experience, multiple certified specialists in personal injury and wrongful death. Plus, they're certified specialists by the State Bar of Arizona. Less than 1% of all lawyers as specialists in injury and wrongful death litigation get certified, and they're one of them. They actually go to trial. You need to go to trial. They will not hesitate. They're not looking to make backdoor deals. They know their way around a courtroom and what needs to be done to prevail in front of a jury for their clients. Again, check them out right now. You can cancel their fee agreement at any time for any reason. And here's the best part. You receive at least as much in your pocket as they receive in their fee, even if they have to reduce their attorney fees to do so. If you have a serious injury, call the husband and wife law team first, 602-783-8841. That's 602-783-8841. Visit their website, the link in the show notes. Tell them Johnny and Bo PHNX Cardinals sent you.
It's going to be 90 degrees this week in the Valley of the Sun while we brave out 20-degree weather here in Indianapolis. But point is, beautiful weather. It's a great time as any to start that new project you've been putting off.
Yeah.
Whether it's some kind of renovation. How about the kitchen, bathroom, full remodel? The Window Depot is really your one-stop shop. And you're saying, oh, Johnny, the Window Depot, that's just windows. That's not going to get it done. It's like, not so fast, my friend.
Yeah.
Sure, since 2002, they started with windows, but the Window Depot, it's way more than windows now. It's doors, it's skylights, it's cabinets, it's countertops, it's sinks, you name it, with tons of inventory in stock and ready to pick up. And if you need something custom, they got you covered there too. Contractors, they love them because of their job site ready quantities, great pricing, and expert service with no membership required. While homeowners, do-it-yourselfers, they love their built-in, in-house designers that are free, and they bring your vision to life. Don't delay any longer. Visit thewindowdepot.com. It's like the Ohio State. It's thewindowdepot.com. Get started on that next project today.
Do us a favor, hit that like button. Let's get 500 likes here, Combine Day 1, Bo.
Yeah, I think if we get to past the 200 like echelon by the end of the show,
okay,
you'll get a steak.
How about 300?
Okay.
Got to be 300.
Okay.
I'll get a steak. Yeah, just picking my meal for me. That's fine. I was really digging on some of the other options on the menu. That's fine.
He's trying to run from it so much.
No, it's not.
He doesn't want the pressure.
Scared.
There's no pressure here. I did it last year. I've won. You've been to the mountain before. It's like you want a new challenge. Also, like,
who doesn't want to go to a steakhouse and get a steak?
I'm not having my meal dictated by likes here, especially for a measly
Well, yes, you are. You very much
likes.
so. Yeah.
This is such a crock of shit. I'm so upset.
Easy.
Sorry about that. You can get
unbelievable.
You get one
unreal.
Here we are amongst our peers, and Johnny's going to take down the class of this show by using harsh language.
Excuse me. The people at ESPN Radio just gave me a look. I don't care. You're not getting Malik Willis, Cleveland. Don't look over here. Turn around.
Is the guy that looks like T2 over there?
Yeah, he does. Hit that like button. But by the way, if you want the insight and the behind the scenes of our dinner tonight, you have to be in the member Discord. And you have to be a diehard. Become a diehard, $35 a month. T-shirt, Fran Duffy draft guide, percentage off draft tickets, and more. I saw people chopping up in the chat saying, "Is it worth it?" And thankfully, all of our diehards are saying it's worth it. So become a diehard today. I am diehard for this draft. I think this draft is hashtag good. I like these players. And I like that we're able to put the pause button. We've talked Kyler Murray, and it's going to continue to be a topic of conversation. But thankfully, Jordan Reid came to the rescue. We didn't ask one Kyler Murray question, and we said, what's the deal with pick 3 and these prospects? Here's Jordan Reid of ESPN earlier today. Here on the set of the 2026 NFL Combine, it's our guy Jordan Reid, ESPN. He's got a brand new mock draft dropping next Wednesday post-Combine. Jordan, is there any reality in which Fernando Mendoza is not the first overall pick?
Not at all. The dinosaurs will come back before you see that happening. That is not happening at all. Fernando Mendoza is definitely going to be the number 1 pick when my mock does come out next Wednesday.
When it's kind of a one-quarterback draft, or at least at the top, or in the top 10, and we'll see what happens with Ty Simpson, who I like is going to work out this week here at the Combine. But does it make your job easier from an evaluation standpoint or harder because you have to go kind of check all these other quarterbacks outside of Mendoza?
Well, easier, and I say that because I love that Ty is actually going to participate in everything, and he needs it. He needs to build some type of momentum for himself, especially with how the season really dwindled for him last year. And if you think about it, really from September through that really first week of November, a lot of people thought he potentially could be the first quarterback off of the board. He had a 2.5 month stretch of where he played fantastic. I'm talking about that LSU game, the Mizzou game, and even that first Georgia game. He was exceptional in all of those. But as their run game dwindled, the receivers suffered some injuries, a lot of drop issues as well, and he even had some injuries of his own as well. So things started to dwindle not only within his physique but also around him. as well. So, just speaking to evaluators here, he could go as high as the Jets at 16, but also Arizona at 34 in the top of the second round. That could be another area where he goes.
I'd be interested in that with Mike LaFleur being able to maybe redshirt him for at least part of the season. But looking at that third overall pick, Bo and I typically struggle because I think we want to talk ourselves into a right tackle there. But then the more you hear about best available player, I think I'd be interested to hear your consensus on the two tackles compared to like the edge rushers. How do you have that ranked in terms of prioritization?
So I think there's a lot of depth in this year's defensive end class, and then also right tackle as well. So I think really what it comes down to, honestly, with Monti is, do you feel better about the depth of this class at 34 speaking? Do you feel better about a tackle falling there or a defensive end falling there? Me personally, I will feel better about taking the defensive end early and then getting an offensive tackle at 34, just because there's going to be some risers in this year's class. But I think really that 20 to 35 range is really where we see a lot of these guys go, whether it's a Blake Miller at Clemson, a Max Iheanacho at Arizona State, Monroe Freeland at Georgia. So there's a lot of names, even a Caden Proctor, depending on how you feel about him. There's a lot of names in that 20 to 35 range of where these guys are going to come off of the board.
And as far as when you talk about the top guys, Maui Noah, Fano, I mean, is it just too rich? It's just you're losing out on the ability to maximize the third overall pick, maybe taking those guys that early?
Well, I would feel comfortable taking Maui Noah at 3. I like him. He's one of my favorite prospects in this entire draft. And depending on what happens with Jonah Williams, if they do end up deciding to bring him back, Maui Noah, I think, is going to be what I like to call consistently consistent, which is what he has been throughout his career. And you hear Mario Cristobal compare him to Penei Sewell during his time at Oregon. Now, I don't think Maui Noah is going to be the caliber of athlete that Penei Sewell was, but he's just talking about how he was a pillar piece of that program. He talks about Bane and he talks about Maui Noah, of how they changed the attitude and the identity of the program, which is what Arizona needs right now. They need those intense cultural program changes. They just don't have that on the offensive side right now.
Let's talk about these defensive ends. Arvell Reese is a conundrum for Cardinal fans. You like the intensity. You like the university. Cardinals love Ohio State players. But there's just too many similarities, and I'm anxious to see how he works out this week with some picks of the past. You know where I'm going with this. Isaiah Simmons, most notably. And anytime you talk about like unicorn tweener, with the Cardinals, you just can't afford to take that kind of player, in my opinion.
That's going to bring some bad flashbacks when they hear positionless players at the top of the draft. And even Zaven Collins, he was another player that they took pretty high. They ended up not working out for them. But you can't really let that cloud the judgment of the player. Just because you miss out on some blue-chip type of talent, you can't let those bad evaluations or that you missed on previously that wasn't even your regime bleed into another player. And I say that because I think Arvell, I like him personally better as an off-ball linebacker that eventually could transition to being a defensive end, as opposed to just sticking him at defensive end right now, just because he's so raw at the position. But how much of a leeway am I going to get to actually develop him? Just because he's not going to be ready as a defensive end right away. I can tell you that right now, just because he's so raw from a repertoire standpoint, and then just the consistency against the run. There's going to be some growing pains with him there, just because he's such an athletic specimen. He has to figure out and experiment with what exactly he likes to do at the position, and that's probably bringing back some PTSD with you guys. So me personally, I will feel comfortable taking Bane there if he is there, just because the one thing I know he's going to change right away is the identity of my team. I know he's going to be very physical as a run defender. He's going to give me some semblance of pass rush juice as well. But what I love about Bane is when his team needed him the most, everybody knew number 4 was an impact player, and he passed the test throughout every single game in the college football playoff. I just love seeing guys at the top of the draft go in and dominate games like that.
Yeah. How can a guy like David Bailey kind of force the conversation, the debate, to maybe put himself along with where you see Bane?
I mean, I think they're right there with each other. It just depends on personal preference, but also you have to remember personnel as well. Josh Sweat being a lighter defensive end, you don't want to put another light guy opposite of him. So you want that heavy guy like Bane opposite of Josh Sweat, just so you have two different types of body types, just because you don't want to be you don't want to be susceptible against the run with two light players off of the edge.
Is there any chance, because we've seen it in some other mocks and some speculation, the Jets are a wild card. You know they don't need a tackle. We assume they're going to go edge rusher. Is there any reality in which Caleb Downs goes second overall?
I mean, my partner Mel Kiper put it in his mock draft this morning. That was the curveball he threw, so he didn't tell any of us about it that he was going to do it.
Yeah.
But I think it's possible just because in this draft, I think you have to throw positional value out of the door. And if we're just strictly stacking talent and talking about the two best players, in my opinion, in this year's class, is Jeremiyah Love, the running back out of Notre Dame, and also Caleb Downs. I think those are your clear two best players. And when I'm stacking my board, how I stack it is, who do I feel the most confident about being a Pro Bowl player throughout their career? And those are two guys, when I went to sleep at night, or if I go to sleep at night on Thursday, I feel good about after selecting both of those guys.
Yeah. You know, we've talked to some people in the know as well. We've got an All-City draft analyst, Fran Duffy. He's thrown this comp out there. Caleb Downs, similar to Budda Baker.
Yep.
It's like we love Budda Baker. We've been following Budda Baker since he was drafted in this organization in 2017, perennial Pro Bowler. But would you take Budda Baker second or third overall for what he brings on a week-to-week basis? I mean, great, tackling numbers through the roof. Obviously, the motor's all there. Doesn't take the ball away necessarily as a safety. Is that something that you would sign up for that high in the draft?
Without question.
Okay.
Just because at the end of the day, when I'm a GM, I'm going to be judged on hits and misses.
Mm-hmm.
If I hit on a player that's been a multi-time All-Pro, like Budda Baker has had, nobody's complaining about me taking that player. And Budda is still getting it done in Arizona. So if I was to take a Budda Baker at 2 or 3 overall, nobody's going to be complaining about that.
Last question, we'll get you out of here. So generous with his time, Jordan Reid, a sleeper that we're going to know more about after this weekend, that somebody's going to ball out during the workouts on field.
That's a great question. Are we talking about just the testing standpoint or just in general?
Like somebody who's going to emerge as like a freak show after this week.
Let's go with Jake Golday, the linebacker out of Cincinnati. He's somebody I'm really excited to see. And that second tier of linebackers, there's a huge cluster of those guys in that same bucket. Along with Golday, you have Anthony Hill Jr. out of Texas. You have Josiah Trotter as well. And you have plenty of other players that are in that similar bucket as well. So who really emerges from that second tier? And if I were a betting man, I'm not, it would be Jake Golday out of Cincinnati. I think he's going to be a freak show.
You mentioned like Maui Noah. It's kind of a safe pick there. And Bane, who you identified as maybe the good option as far as a pass rusher. Just real quick, Jeremiyah Love at 3. Can you make your case? He's your top player, as you mentioned.
I mean, anytime you get a chance to take the best player in the draft, why not? But I just don't think from a roster building standpoint, you have to understand your timeline as a team. I just don't think Arizona is there right now to take such a luxury or make a luxury pick on a running back right now just because of their timeline and just the need of, whether it's a defensive or offensive lineman.
Check out his mock draft dropping a week from tomorrow. It's Jordan Reid, ESPN. Thank you so much, my guy.
Thank you guys as always.
Great stuff.
The palate cleanser there.
Yeah.
It's like we're going through it with the quarterback situation. It's like, let's talk a little ball. Let's talk a little draft.
Yeah, I still feel a little iffy as far as him in the non-premium positions. I don't know if you can sign me up for that. I don't know if I would sign up for the floor. Like, I know like a Pro Bowler, it's pretty good to put on your roster. What a Pro Bowler used to mean, right? Not today's Pro Bowlers.
Shador.
But I think that you need to try to hit on a true impact kind of franchise type play. And I know this draft doesn't have a lot of them, but like to try to do it at safety is more rare than it would be to do at the tackle or the edge position.
I would take a running back before safety because the running back touches the ball 30 times a game.
Yeah.
Listen, this franchise right now needs juice. They need mojo. They need relevance. They need wins.
Mm-hmm.
If Jeremiyah Love, and I said this on, Sunday show, dominates this week, and he is the consensus #1 overall player and is like thought of as like another Saquon or somebody like that, I mean, like, it wouldn't be my first choice to take him at 3, but like I have been in much darker places with Cardinal first-round picks than taking Jeremiyah Love.
Yeah, that's very bold of you to say that. I mean, it's not going to be well received.
No, I like it. It's not my preference.
Right.
I don't know if it's like long-term team building. It's not smart. But like, what if he's Adrian Peterson? The 1 out of 10 chance. I despise the Simmons pick. Look up receipts. I hated that at the time. I didn't like the Zaven pick. there are picks where I'm just like that. I'm just not going to be on board with that. Hopefully,
Right.
the player wins me over. Like, if they take Jeremiyah Love, it would like the sticker shock would last about 30 seconds, and I'd be like, let's go.
Yeah.
Because
Can't wait to see him in camp. Can't
Right.
wait to get him in pads.
freak show.
Yeah.
Because like Monty's taken a first-round tackle. He's taken 2 first-round defensive tackles. He's taken a first-round wide receiver. He's taken premium positions. So it's not like Keim taking off-ball linebackers every year.
Yeah.
But I think right now, knowing – it's like, what do we know? We know Monty prefers premium positions, right? He doesn't want safeties. He doesn't take safeties and running backs high. So knowing that and knowing where the Cardinals have needs and knowing where this draft sits right now, they want to take a tackle, but the tackles aren't going to warrant it as of today, February 24th. That means they're going to take an edge rusher. That's what we believe to be true. Reuben Bane, David Bailey. Not Reese, who, I thought Jordan put it really well. He's like, yeah, he's an off-ball linebacker right now. Stay away. Get away from my team. No, like somebody in the back half of the top 10 or the early teens can take Reese.
Yeah.
And Reese is going to be very similar to the Georgia kid last year that was projected to be top 5 that went to Atlanta at like 15. It's going to be right now. It's going to be an edge rusher until something changes.
Right. Yeah. Walker wasn't even the best first-round pick coming off the edge for them.
Right.
last year.
Jalen Walker. It was James Pierce.
Yeah, it was James Pierce until this offseason.
Yes.
Look, Arvell Reese, Caleb Downs. It's just
you want them on your team.
It's in the same conversation as the Jeremiyah Love thing. It's just like there's so much work that has to be done roster-wise in order for those guys to make the
And
impact.
Jordan said that.
He did, especially when I asked him about Love, because I knew he told us before that Love is his top overall prospect. Like, can you make the case? And he's like, even knowing that, he's like, a 3 with this roster, not so far. Like, you're going to have to, unless they spend a lot at the right tackle position in free agency.
Which they've done that, and it hasn't worked out.
Yeah.
I see people in the chat, like Jacob saying, can Reuben Bane play right tackle? Who's going to play? I'm with you. Listen, Jacob, they want to draft.
Don't take that tone with Jacob.
Excuse me, Jacob. I'm so sorry. They want to draft a tackle. We were told that. They believe that right tackle was the biggest weakness on the team last year. I can tell you, multiple sourced coaches on the team thought that. And just because you got rid of Jonah Williams, like, what are you going to do? And you heard him. He's like, you're going to try to get a right tackle at pick 34, which is fine, but you don't control your destiny. You control your destiny at pick 3.
Yeah.
You're going to get you're going to get the number 1 tackle in the draft at pick 3.
Yeah.
But is he worth the number 3 pick, or is he worth? I find it hard to believe. Every year we go through this, the landscape shifts as we get closer to the draft. These tackles get pushed up. Calvin Banks Jr. was not considered a top 10 pick at this time last year. He went top 10. Paris Johnson Jr. was not a consensus top 6-7 player. He went there, right? So I do think at the end of the day, these tackles are going to go top 10. But is, Reuben Bane going to be the Incredible Hulk available for this team at pick 3? For you and I right now, is Reuben Bane the best available player for the Cardinals to take at a premium position right now today?
Yeah, pound for pound?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
ESPN and hat tip to the chat. Gus and Chris Hart, K.R. Gordon. ESPN, this is via Josh Weinfuss, who's out here in Indy. Monti Ossenfort said he's talked with Kyler Murray to discuss how last season unfolded. Source told ESPN that the two have not talked since the season ended.
Yeah, Monti Ossenfort lied. We know that. That's window dressing.
No, he says he's talked with Kyler all the time, right?
Oh, well, yeah.
Said, what's your communication been with Kyler? He's like, I've had many discussions with Kyler
It's a
Murray.
turn of phrase. I don't.
Yeah, but just even more, general manager and your quarterback, they haven't talked since the season ended. Because I'm
Is
sure
this news to people? Do people think that
it's just advancing the story with new reported information.
I
know it frustrates you because you've been saying it's
well, but I think Kyler's reps and Monty have talked about trying to find resolution via trade.
I think they could have set that appointment long before the season even ended.
But do I think Monty and Kyler are communicating over the phone? No. Who thinks that? Who thinks that they're texting each other? No.
Right.
He hasn't been around the facility. He's not around the team.
Right.
Like, he's gone.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sorry. We've been doing this dog and pony show for more than a day or two, and like we know the reality of how this is going to go down.
Mm-hmm.
Kyler Murray's going to be released by this team.
Yeah.
Barring a Hail Mary trade. He's going to be cut.
Yeah.
And then we'll be able to say, okay.
You want more of a realistic approach, check out Johnny's Unlocked article right now, go PHNX.com. As it stands right now,
how many likes?
Talking about controlling your own destiny, Johnny's going to be able to control what he's eating tonight.
That's right.
As it stands right now.
That's right.
It's pretty unfortunate.
Suck it, haters.
We got don't talk to the audience like that.
No, it's
That's
just
disrespectful.
It's just the haters out there.
500 people watching.
Espo in the chat saying, I haven't talked to Johnny since the end of the season. That's just what GMs do. That's true. I haven't seen Espo in months. All my hits on Southwest Bias are pre-taped with Shane filling in for Espo.
That's AI, actually. And Johnny's going to be inevitably cut as well.
Wow. Wow.
Your dead money's just not nearly as much.
You couldn't trade me to CHGO. You tried to get a deal done with PHLY. And they wanted they wouldn't take on enough money. They're trying to sign me as a street free agent. So I got my options open. There's
Espo was willing to pay the entirety of your deal.
There's
and
Fox,
PHLY was like,
There's Fox 32 Chicago. We're talking maybe $800,000, $1 million, just like the Kyler deal. Yeah, NBC Sports Washington's over there. Yeah, we're trying to prop me up. It's tough right now. Dead weight with dead money. That's right. Hit that like button. We still got some time here. We're ripping through your super chats. Man, we got so much good content on deck for you later this week. We're going to talk tomorrow with John Middlecoff of The Volume, who's frequently on Colin Cowherd.
Yeah.
And we were chatting with him earlier today. He's got some Cardinal takes. They're pretty aggressive.
yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I do
like
too.
that.
I love Milkoff, one of the best out there. Noah, the best producer out there.
Hello.
Ready to rip through some super chats today. Get them in now.
All right, let's do it. Today we're going to start off with the members and those members that are also celebrating their months of membership.
All right.
And we got a new member, Jay Giberson, 31. Thank you very much, Jay.
Let's go, Jay.
Thank you.
Max celebrates 5 months of membership. Draft Fano, get a mediocre QB, let the season play out, and prepare to swing big in next year's draft on Arch or Dante. Hashtag, in my opinion.
I don't think Malik Willis prevents you from doing that. I
think that's what he's saying, right?
Yeah.
Is he saying mediocre QB? I think Malik Willis falls into that.
We didn't cover this today, too, and I like getting a tackle for an older quarterback. Kirk Cousins is going to be released. It doesn't sound like he's going back to Atlanta.
Right.
So that's an option. Not a great one, but it's an option. Atlanta's GM. I mean, like, it's pretty crazy how, like, all these GMs are basically coming out and saying exactly what they're going to do, and the Cardinals still won't admit to anything.
Yeah. Everything's on the table.
Except for my steak.
We have.
Well, you're not even going to be getting a steak.
That's right. That's why it's not on the table.
You're going to ask for chicken nuggets.
The 500 large right now can change that.
People are calling me Johnny Chicken Tendies in the chat. I don't appreciate it, even though I've been known to dabble on some air fryer chicken nuggets at the Venerable household.
No, you just get the kid cuisine ones. Throw it in the microwave.
with the brownie and the corn?
Yes.
And the mashed potatoes? All right, let's keep things going.
Daniel Barnett celebrates 2 months of membership. Seeing other GMs like Miami giving actual transparent answers, Johnny, crush that steak. No copping out to seafood. We believe in you.
Why is seafood like a cop-out? Why is it just like, well, if you don't get this like 32-ounce steak, then you're not a man?
I'm concerned that you're going to be putting back too much seafood. You're going to have the shrimp cocktail, and then you're going to get another seafood dish.
I'm a seafood connoisseur. I like
Mercury levels are going to be
This is where
pretty risky.
It's fresh.
Pretty risky.
It's caught here off the coast here in Indianapolis. It's fresh. On the docket.
Johnny, according to Chris, Johnny Dino Nuggies, Venerable.
I've also we've all dabbled on Dino Nuggets.
Can you answer this question real quick before we get to the next one? Eris, our Cardinals friend from California, is saying, why not Jacoby as our bridge quarterback, Johnny?
Because I like watching winning football. I think Jacoby Brissett would be perfect if you were going into 2023 if you were Monti Ossenfort. You're going into 2026, you have 15 wins. You won 1 game with Jacoby Brissett last year. Now, You want to talk about injuries and the run game and the coaching and the optics, that's great. If you go into this season with Jacoby Brissett, you were telling everybody, like, number one, this season's not going to go well. Number two, Monti Ossenfort's days are numbered. Like, Monti Ossenfort knows that.
Right.
Like, it's not an option, not a realistic option.
You know, talking to Peliserro, talking to Fowler, talking to other people around here, Malik Willis, it's not without risk. It's very risky. He's not without polarization. Like, you talk to 10 people, 5 people are going to have one thought about Malik Willis, and the other 5 are going to think something else.
Yeah.
But, like, as far as Jacoby Brissett, I think 100% know who he is as a quarterback.
Yeah.
And we saw him, and he played in 12 games last year, and he won one of them. And was he set up for success? He certainly wasn't. Is Malik Willis going to be set up for success? Like, at least from the jump, he'll have, I think, intact a run game. I think a better, maybe schemed run game.
Yeah.
Probably a better offensive line. Established playmakers and the ability the scheme to feed them. But I just don't think, like, how many more wins can you get from Jacoby Brissett? Or are you saying just take Jacoby and lose as many games as possible, because that is just not an approach that Monti Ossenfort or the Cardinals organization could take?
Can I just say, if you're going to ride with Jacoby Brissett, then just take Jeremiyah Love at 3 overall, and then just have a chaos season. That would be better than just slow playing this. Let's keep things going, Noah.
Orange Panda 37 celebrates 1 month of membership. You don't think there's any chance of a trade down, even to just 5 or 7?
I mean, there's always a chance if a team gets fixated on a player. The return, I just would argue, is not going to be there to pass. If they're coming up for a player, it's probably going to be an edge rusher. Then why aren't you taking that player? Mm-hmm. And it's going to be the same argument people had about Cooper DeJean and Max Melton, B.J. Ojulari when you traded down. Like, I just think Monti Ossenfort is an extra third next year going to save you now. Like, if Reuben Bane's available and somebody's coming up to get Reuben Bane, you need to take Reuben Bane, right? Like, if Reuben Bane goes second and you don't love David Bailey, right, and you don't, maybe he's not a great guy character-wise, or I don't know if anything's come out, and you're like, okay, we're going to take Francis at 5. You feel comfortable with that? Okay, great. But it doesn't feel like the draft for that. Like, fair or not, you got to trade down because people thought Will Anderson Jr. in Houston was elite, and guess what? They were proven right. I like that trade for the Cardinals, but they got the best player in that trade, no doubt about it. Don't do that again.
Right.
I've seen you spend 4 third-rounders in 2024. How many of them are good players?
Right. I mean, if it's Cleveland, they're coming up probably to get a tackle.
Right.
Right?
But they can probably stick and pick and get
a
tackle.
They could. Washington, are they going to come up? I
wouldn't want to go to 7.
Right. It's like, then you start to get too far down the draft board. You're probably going to take at the very least, the second best at some of these premium positions.
Ralph is saying if Reuben Bane's there at 3 and somebody's offering you a future first, you trade down. Yes, but nobody's offering you a future first.
There's no quarterback tax here. It's just one of the stranger drafts in our lifetimes.
It is. Just take the best player right now.
It's not even like a Travis Hunter where it's like this guy is upside on both sides of the ball, and like what you saw with Cleveland and Jacksonville last
I think we'll get some juice after workouts this week, though. Okay. Let's keep things going, Noah.
Our guy Alex celebrates 5 months of membership.
Man.
He goes,
Awesome,
slow motion
Alex.
Video of a very important question to our GM? Now that's what I call premium combine coverage. That's my show host, Johnny effin' Venerable.
Listen, I asked a question about Malik Willis, and then my fat fingers were sliding all the way around on my phone. And so apparently I moved it while Monty was talking.
The chicken tendies grease?
Yeah, too slow motion.
On his fingertips?
It was actually from the mozzarella from the press room. And then I moved it to slow-mo, didn't realize I had done it, posted the clip and was like, yeah, I got that clip out.
Yeah.
And then just bombarded with responses and mentions like, what is this crap? What happened? Is this on purpose? Thankfully, Bo got the good footage, which you can now see on here. But, yeah, that's just me in the trenches.
You can take slow-mo off you can just change it. You didn't know that, right?
After I already recorded the video?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
you can change where you slow down. I feel like I'm helping out my elderly father
Your
here.
boomer dad, mom and dad, yeah.
No, the button's on the remote, Johnny. Justin Stud
I
2.
posted a talkie on my social media.
How do I make the font bigger?
Justin Stud 2, $4.99. If Monty sticks to his board, gotta believe it's Downs at 3.
Which board are you referring to? Opposite board?
He put in
Easy, man.
he
Don't
put
roast
in
him that hard.
quotation sticks to his board.
I think I'd seen it. I knew he was being. I don't.
Yeah.
I think he was being tongue in cheek there.
Yeah, man. Like Arvell Reese and Caleb Downs just shy away.
They just
Not to say that they're not going to be impact players at the next level.
Downs could be the best player in this draft. I don't even want to consider put Reese away. Go away. I would rather take Caleb Downs than Reese because I know what position he plays. They got Taylor Demerson. They got Buda Baker. They got Keaton Crawford. They're probably going to draft another safety. That's fine. Your front seven stinks. Your line of scrimmage play stinks. Stop taking. I'm not talking to Monty.
Yeah.
Off-ball linebackers and say you can't be doing that.
Yeah, I don't think you don't have to threaten Monty. I think he understands.
He gets it.
He gets the assignment, at least in this case.
It's a line of scrimmage league.
Right.
Who plays safety for the Rams? Who plays safety for the 49ers? Okay.
You look at Cam Curl. He played safety for the Rams. He's
Awesome.
a free agent.
Awesome.
Outlaw Ace 65, $2. Hey, yo, Espo in the house.
All right. Great to see the GM here.
Can we remove Espo from the stream, please?
Dust,
Espo's saying in the stream, don't think I didn't see it. Said Locked On wouldn't even have Johnny. Wow.
Whoa.
That shot's fired. We'll see about that.
Das Libra, a very generous $19.99.
The little bro.
Hey,
Thank
little
you.
bro. I'm so anxious in anticipation to see what next week brings. I hope it leaves us with more answers than confusion. I'm tired of the Cardinal confusion.
I didn't like when Jeremy Fowler said Jimmy Garoppolo today, and it made me want to walk away from the interview when he said that. And I'm like, Jeremy,
He's so good. He's
Can
so
you not?
dialed in.
can you not?
Yeah.
I'm excited about next week, too. You think there's a possibility they wait to release Kyler Murray until, like, the last minute?
What benefit do they have releasing him
Early?
Yeah. Just to get their books all in order before?
I mean, I hope they have a good accountant, good cap guy that could take care
Yeah.
of it. Yeah, probably. Just to see if there's a last-minute change of heart from a team to trade him. Yeah.
Gage Hannah 1. JV, you are my light in the darkness. Your hair is lovely.
Wow. That means a lot. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Do us a favor, subscribe.
I'm sure talking like that. It's probably already subscribed.
I would assume
Create
so.
another account and subscribe again.
They're already a member.
Let's go.
Red
Take
Feather
advantage of them.
Workshop. Dana Ballknower, $5. Great Lakes are freshwater. Indy is 600 miles from the coast. Any word on the players and the 5 formal interviews yesterday that Mike mentioned?
The tough part about our schedule this week is that we're only going to be able to talk to the edge rushers. So the usual banter, which I know people hate, but I'm going to do it till I'm dead, is going up to prospects and saying, hey, did you meet with the Cardinals? Because people want to know that.
Yeah.
So we will continue to ask it.
Yep.
We're not above it, but
No.
nothing yet in terms of who they met with.
No, we're out there with the slop.
We're below it.
Yeah.
Panda with Wings, $5. If the Cardinals sign Willis, they should still draft a QB in the later round. We need to draft QBs more often.
100%. You want to take a Drew Aller on day 3? I'm all for it. I just want the quarterback room, no offense, to just look completely different.
Okay.
Palate cleanser. Just have a fresh start for everybody.
You got
Do what
1990.
the Seahawks did last year.
That's
Sorry,
right.
Noah. Yeah.
Got a nice $20 here from Yummy Microplastics. Kime took big swings to save his career, and it set the franchise back badly. Here's hoping Monty's big swings land squarely.
That's the risk you take bringing back a general manager that's 15-36 because
The record's so bad.
he's not long for this world, but you're putting the urgency on his shoulders to keep his job. And in order to do that, you back him in the corner, and he's gonna have to take some swings. And a swing for Monti Ossenfort, he's been pretty risk averse as a general manager for the most part.
He's avoided risk.
Outside of that's what risk averse means. It's where outside of navigating the first round of the 2023 draft.
It's pro risk.
When he went down the board and then back up, that's the most we kind of seen from him.
I mean, Kime, here's all. I'll defend Steve Kime for 2 seconds. He risked it with drafting Tyron. That worked out. He risked it trading for, he got D-Hop. He got Chandler Jones. Like, his early swings worked, but it had the Bruce Arians magic on it.
Yeah.
For most of it. I mean, taking Kyler Murray worked after taking Rosen, but like, yeah, a lot of his swings, the Hollywood Brown trade, the endless off-ball linebackers, Andy Isabella over DK Metcalf. I think I'll defend Monty. I've liked all of his drafts. We've come out of it. We've liked the majority of the picks, especially the early picks. We've liked them all. They haven't worked out yet.
Yeah. It's so important. Like, we talk about this offseason. We talk about what you're going to do at the quarterback position. You know, what are you going to do with the third overall pick and these high picks and all these rounds and in free agency?
Yeah.
But in order for all of this to work, those close to 30 picks that he's made, like Michael LaFleur, his new coaching staff, like, they have to get something out of those guys.
Right.
It's so important.
Lost
like,
causes.
Marv and Darius Robinson just can't be guys. Like, they have to make impacts.
Right. That draft's been a disaster.
It has.
Anthony Brown, $2. Downs, biggest game changer in the draft. He's Hall of Fame level.
He would need to be, no offense, like he has to be one of the best safeties in the NFL, like when you draft him.
Yeah.
It's like the argument I made last year when the Bears took the tight end, like 10th overall. I'm like, this is a disastrous pick because he has to be great immediately. And give him credit, he ascended at the end of the year and was great. But, like, just the expectation, like, if they take Reuben Bane, and all Reuben Bane ever is just an 8 to 12 sack guy a year, and he gets an extension and he's a really good player for the team, that's a win of a pick. But Caleb Downs can't come here and be like a box score filler, but the Cardinals' defense is bad. And, I mean, his position does not impact the game enough to warrant the draft pick.
He has to be Ed Reed. He has to be Sean Taylor. He has to be these guys that, like, he's getting a turnover almost every other game.
Right.
Right? You know, I mean.
It's unrealistic. I don't want that expectation for Caleb Downs.
Yeah.
$2. Panda with Wings is back. Thoughts on Rico Dowdle?
Somebody said that he gotten extended, so that must have been incorrect. He's.
I would like to see more of an upside or a swing at running back, whether it's.
He's had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. You never know it.
Yeah, I mean, basically made. You know who got an extension like the season before was Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah,
and he fell out of favor because Rico Dowdle.
I mean, he's going to be 28 though, and not a lot of touches. I mean, but you're drafting him to be good for you for what, a year and a half. It's not a great running back class. Now, having said that, guys always pop and emerge after the fact. But I am not a Trey Benson guy. I think he's just a guy, and I think James Conner's going to be cut. So, I mean, we'd be spending a lot more time on running back if the quarterback position wasn't so big.
Yeah.
$5. Jonathan Castro, Bailey, Maui, Bane, in that order for me. Happy if we draft either one of them.
I think that's definitely the group.
Yeah.
I think you and I would have Bane first.
Probably flip it, right?
Yeah.
Because he said Bailey, Maui, Noah, and Bailey,
Yeah.
Maui, Noah, and Bane.
Yep.
We probably have it in the reverse: Bane, Maui, Noah, and Bailey.
Yeah. I love what Jordan Reid said about you got Sweat, who's lighter, go with Bane, more power on the opposite side.
That's true NFL draft analyst sicko mode.
Yeah.
Where he's looking at the personnel.
He knows the Cardinals
and
personnel.
He's not going to just say edge. I like the tools and the upside from David Bailey. He's like, no, how does this puzzle piece fit? Where you're seeing other guys just go, they're going to take Matthew Gold. I didn't like what I saw from Marvin Harrison Jr. in year one.
Yeah.
We got Ranger here, $5. So when is Noah having his one-on-one with Petzing to find out where he has plans for the Lions seasons?
Would you approach Drew if you saw him?
God, no.
I'll make the introduction.
No, we're good.
Would Drew speak to you if you saw him?
I think so.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, if he wouldn't, it's because of things you said.
Let's keep it going. Yeah, I do that for the fan base. Sorry. Whoops, sorry, everybody.
Jacob, $4.99. Any update on getting MLF on the show? Also, get JV a Snickers bar.
We'd love to get MILF on the show. I'll bring up the elephant in the room. It feels different not talking to Jonathan Gannon here, and no one cares about that. No, it's not a talking point on the show, but like I miss my friend, and he's not available now, and we're starting over with Mike. And the expectation and the hope is that Mike will eventually want to come on the show.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, you could feel it. There was Johnny and Mike. I don't think that they hit it off nearly as good as Jonathan Gannon and Johnny. I mean, Gannon was coming up, complimenting Johnny during his availability in years past. And
he complimented my haircut.
Yeah.
He had a different presser.
You didn't even get your hair cut for this,
no,
for Mike.
because
So
I was just
this is a two-lane
screw
street.
it. I'm
okay?
like, yeah, I don't care.
It's a two-way street, but Johnny just seems, hey, like me, I'm the host of the Premier Cardinals podcast.
Yeah. I got to earn it with Mike.
Yeah.
And listen, Mike's got a lot going on. And who can forget, like our first combine here, when Gannon had just been hired, he wasn't on the show that offseason.
Right.
So
we caught up with him later that week.
We did. But then we became what I'd like to think of lifelong friends.
But Johnny might be actually eating a Snickers bar for his entree tonight if we don't force his hand here.
Yeah.
Instead of a steak.
Well, here's what I'll do. It's got to be 300 likes by the time we get to the steakhouse tonight, St. Elmo's. So you've got time if you're watching this on replay too.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got, which I do think we'll get to 300 likes by the time the show, 8:45.
Wait,
Eastern
could I
time.
get a Snickers ball?
No, kindly leave.
Ranger, $5. The Jets will take Bane, so don't have to worry about picking between Maui Noah and him. Book it.
That's what a competent franchise would do.
Yeah.
But I do think, as Benjamin Albright walks by, love that man. Here's what I will say: Reuben Bane should be the second overall pick, but it's the Jets.
It is crazy that isn't happening more often as far as speculating and forecasting this draft.
Right. Because of the team.
Yeah.
Like you could see Caleb Downs going there, couldn't you? I could see that.
Consistently, like Downs and Arvell Reese are in that spot, the number 2 spot. And we've laid out why it's a bad idea for the Cardinals at 3, but everybody's like, it still could be a possibility ahead of them.
Hey, the Jets. No, to me, the Jets are disappointed that Dante Moore's not in this draft, so they can't ruin him.
T-Votto, $2. Hashtag Seafood Gate incoming. Lattes and rollaway bed, my guy.
Seafood Gate works really good.
What, I just ordered seafood for dinner? It's not a real thing. Let's keep it going.
Seems like
He's going to get like a seafood tower.
Can I just say?
He's going to take it down himself. It's not for the table, actually. This is my entree.
I slept in a bunk bed last night. Noah and I have bunk beds, so I don't have a rollaway bed. So every year you go to the combine, you get a little bit more with ALLCITY. It's just like last year, rollaway bed, this year, bunk bed. I'm hoping for a race car bed next year.
That's also the sad thing about all this. It's like we're seeing our colleagues from other cities like CHGO.
Yeah.
Really like well thought of people in this industry.
Sure.
And Johnny's first thing he's telling them is he selected where we're staying. It's the nicest place we've ever stayed. Here's how
Is it
nice
not?
it is.
Hello?
And yet,
Look, they don't dispute it. I booked it. Estro gave me the green light. I booked it in 5 minutes. It's walking distance. It's clean. It's got physical beds for everybody.
Yeah.
Sorry, low bar to clear after last year. The hot water worked. Awesome. Great.
You're back to being released again.
Hey, I can do my job now.
people want to know what bunk you're in, Johnny.
I'm in the bottom bunk. I didn't want the top bunk.
I got the top bunk.
Noah and I watched.
Too scared.
Noah and I watched Roadhouse until about 2 a.m. Then I fell asleep.
You guys are out of control.
It was on. I know it's always on
We
Prime.
got in last night at midnight. We got to the place at 1, and you're firing up Roadhouse
to get me ready for the week to get locked in.
Just go to sleep.
It's an awesome movie.
Like adults.
No,
Never.
never.
Hollis, $4.99. Take Love in a trade back. Take a tackle at 34. Give me a top 3 running back prospect of the decade. Best player available at every pick. Next year, focus on the needs in a stacked class.
I just like if they took Jeremiyah Love, it wouldn't bother me.
And a trade down too. I mean, that would add to it.
Like this franchise has beat me down so bad, and like Jeremiyah Love is the biggest freak show. And here's why I love him especially. He's participating this week. He is. He doesn't need to. I mean, like, I love Cam Scatterwood. Cam Scatterwood didn't.
Well, he had an injury.
Oh, that's right. I mean, Jeremiah Love is going to show up and show out, and he's going to run dumb.
I don't know
dumb
if he had
40.
an injury though. Like he did the test that he knew he was going to excel at. He didn't do the 40. It's just one of those like. It would be in hindsight pick. You're like I can get behind this, but I am still firmly in like, hey, don't draft a running back early.
But then we just fast forward to week 1 and just like scoring touchdowns, and it's just like, okay, this is fun. I'm having fun here.
You saw with Bijan, like when you have a running back, the vocal point of your offense,
right? It's not a winning formula,
right?
But like, can we just get back to fun football?
It would be.
Last year was so painful. This team with Drew,
and you would also get like. I know it was a horrible consolation prize, but like Trey McBride's is all-pro tight end. It's a product of them feeding him because they didn't have any other options. Same thing with Michael Wilson. He becomes relevant. It's like you would add another relevant piece that outside of the fan base would be like Jeremiyah Love, Cardinals.
Fantasy player. And then eventually if you're getting a rookie quarterback, then it's there are far worse options in my opinion.
Our last super chat of the day comes in from an anonymous user that says Noah picking the top bunk is a elite level move, and you can definitely tell that he is the alpha of the group.
That's what I was gonna say.
It's definitely not Noah reading off nothing, because I not seeing it on the screen either.
No,
interesting.
It just must be on my screen.
Yeah, it was an anonymous user.
Can I just say this, Damon? If you're watching, we miss you, brother. Wish you were here, my guy.
That's mean, man.
Oh, come on.
That's mean.
Hit that like.
Be welcoming to Noah.
You know what? I gave him a chance, and then he stabbed me in the back just now.
You really didn't.
Big ask of everybody here. We got 500 people watching. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe, hit that like, and please consider becoming a diehard. I know people are asking what the difference is. We got the members, we got the diehards. Here's what I'm going to tell you. $35, you get a T-shirt. $36, excuse me. You get all the access on the website, which we're going to be dropping more every day this week. Mm-hmm. So the T-shirt alone pays for it, and then you're going to get money off the draft party, and on top of that, you're in the member Discord. So you get all the behind-the-scenes footage. We're only putting that in the Discord box.
Yeah, the percentage you save on the draft party is a nice little ad there by you because it's going to help. And then
which will already be affordable this year.
Yes, it will. It will. So it's going to be an even better price to you. Plus that free T-shirt that it pays for itself there. So I'm going to be dropping some stuff on the website gophnx.com that will not be unlocked. So check that out. But in order to do so, you got to have access to being a diehard. And also we've got what's going on as far as the exclusive member Discord that's going. Like I see JB, I see Osat, like our Glorious King, Cardinals Cruiser, everybody's chatting in there. So there you go.
The fun continues. It's the post game to our time here on Radio Road today. We're going to be at St. Elmo Steakhouse in T-minus 2.5 hours as we go back to the scene of, I would say the scene of the crime, but the scene of my victory last year where I absolutely dominated my steak. So what will I be eating and how much pressure will be on me to finish it? Find out more in the Discord. As I say that out loud, it's simply ridiculous that this bit is continuing.
Yeah. The cell service is tough in St. Elmo's, but we are going to get it out.
Big thanks to everybody from Tom Peliserro to Jeremy Fowler and, of course, Jordan Reid. We got a banger show tomorrow. Again, we mentioned hopefully John Middlecoff, hopefully Mina Kimes later this week, Trevor Sikkema, among others, and, of course, the very latest. No NFLPA grades tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see what we can find as far as that goes. And then also, like, Bane and Bailey talk tomorrow. We'll get some sense of, what's the Cardinals' interest.
Yeah, I'm going to ask him, did you meet with the Cardinals? And I'm going to tell people who don't like that to they can kick rocks.
Ask him first.
No, you won't. For Bo and Noah and Shane, I'm Johnny, live from Radio Row. We'll see you after hours. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.